Recording in progress.
This is our regular session. I would note that all commissioners are present with the exception of Commissioner Engel. And if he drops on the line, we will certainly advise accordingly. We did meet in executive session to discuss matters of personnel. And we will now begin the meeting with a Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a moment of silence. And I would ask that the pledge tonight be led by Commissioner Hisro.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Hopefully this meeting goes quickly, right, Tom? I think there's a game on tonight. Okay. We will start with petition, complaint, suggestions from citizens. Anybody wish to address the board tonight? Oh, okay. All right, hearing none. Move to approval of minutes from our February 24th, 2022 Board of Commissioners workshop meeting.
Mr. President, I so move.
All right. Moved by Commissioner Hisro. Second by Commissioner Rothrock. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Reports, committees, buildings and grounds. Commissioner Rothrock.
Thank you, Mr. President. Not a lot to report. The administration building renovations are continuing. Construction is about 50% complete based on the building so far. Interior framing, plumbing, and electrical is roughed in, and some floor coverings are on site but not installed. That concludes my report.
Very good. At 50%, you and I walked through that today, and it looks like it's a lot less than 50%, but it really has come a long way since the project started. So thank you for that update.
Mr. President,
Yes.
are they still on course for April?
Ms. Logan?
They are. There's a couple delays, but we were able, with materials, but we were able to work around that. So the anticipated end date would be like the end of April. So we would probably be working under a temporary certificate of occupancy until some other things have arrived, but we have other options to fix this.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Budget and Finance, Commissioner Fleming?
Yes, Mr. President, thank you very much. I have been in contact with Manager Probolka, and in early April, we are going to schedule a meeting of the Budget and Finance Committee to look at Q1. And so I anticipate that meeting should take place within before our regular meeting in April. So that's my hope. That concludes my report.
All right, thank you. Health and Sanitation, Commissioner Barchak.
Just a brief report. The first yard waste pickup by Penn Waste will be March 19th. It's a Saturday, of course.
Thank you. Public Works, Commissioner Napper.
No report, sir. Can I ask that I give it during the sewer authority?
What's that?
Can I give the report later? It's having a hard time coming up on my computer.
Oh, absolutely.
Which is going to be given during the sewer report.
Absolutely. Thank you. Administration Personnel, Commissioner Napper.
No report, sir.
Thank you. Police, Commissioner Engel is excused. Mr. Falona, do you have anything?
No report, sir.
Thank you. Does Chief have anything? All right, thank you. Fire and EMS, Commissioner Hisro.
No report this evening.
Thank you. Recreation, Commissioner Falona.
Yeah, I have several items here. Thank you, Mr. President. We have, as everyone knows, we have a new Parks and Rec coordinator, Heaven Smith, who's been lighting up our social media properties on Facebook and Instagram. So if you haven't seen them, please do look for them because they're wonderful content that promotes our parks and programs. Also, we have a reorg last night, and all the officers have been reappointed from last year, led by Chair Amy Sturgis. And lastly, the township has been awarded $150,000 from the local share grant program or the gaming grant, of which $120,000 will be used to replace playgrounds at Edgemont Community Park and Xavier Memorial Park. And that concludes my report.
All right, thank you, Commissioner. Planning and Zoning, Commissioner Rothrock.
Thank you, Mr. President. Not a whole lot to report. The Planning Commission meeting on the 28th of February was canceled. There was a zoning hearing board meeting on the 22nd of, not January, February, I'm sorry. Regarding Susquehanna Incorporated on 6th Street, the applicant's requesting a special exception to allow a junkyard on less than 5 acres and also a reduced setback. This is in the industrial zoning district in Ward 1. Their request, after some discussion, was determined to be incomplete, and the plaintiff's attorney requested a continuation, so it was tabled. The request will be considered with additional information on April 6th. And then the zoning hearing board for the 2nd of March was canceled. That concludes my report. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Authority, Commissioner Napper, do you have anything?
Yes, sir. Here we go. For the month of February, Public Works personnel performed daily checks and repairs at the sewer pumping stations. The Public Works staff flushed and televised the main sanitary sewer systems, as well as televised the storm system. Personnel cleaned out the storm inlets in Ward 8 and inspected manholes and overflow boxes. Sewer and highway staff cleared snow from pumping stations, plus performed plowing and salting township roadways to include clearing debris and ditches and fallen trees throughout the township. Staff attend flaggers training at PSATS. And in conclusion, Mr. President, there was a planning and construction meeting in February with GHD Engineering to discuss future sewer capital improvement projects. And this ends my report, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Commissioner Napper, do you know, with the February work report, it said about cold patch potholes? I assume that was being done. Is there going to be a continuation, or is there a continuation going on, I assume, in the month of March?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. I do want to note, and maybe it's on the schedule, but there's a few nasty ones on High and Off Road between 7th Ward and 3rd Ward. It kind of stretches across both wards to ask them to take a look at that, to get those fixed. Thanks.
Yes. Could you send a list to the Public Works Director? And that would be great.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right. School Board Liaison, Commissioner Pine, do you have anything?
Yes. Mr. President, just some notes from the most recent school board meeting. In terms of academics, there was extensive discussion of student achievement, in particular the MAP, which is the Measures of Academic Progress Assessment. Without going into a lot of detail, testing early in the current year kind of proved what we all expected, and that is that COVID disruptions to student learning had students way behind, at least at the beginning of the school year, and especially in math skills. There's another MAP assessment that was just done, and so the board expects to receive word soon on growth, which is even probably more important, but we'll find out shortly about that. Financially, there will appear to be good news for the district as they start their process of developing their new budget. Mr. Anderson, the business administrator, indicated the district had a solid fund balance, which is good news. One interesting report came from the district's human resources director that there's a serious shortage of teachers statewide, while Susquehanna has weathered the storms, been able to fill most of its openings, the number of teaching certificates issued by the state is about a third of what it was as recently as 7 years ago. And the shortage of support staff is even worse, as salaries in districts can't keep pace with the private sector. The issue of the school district's mascot has been a lot in the news. I think there was some surprisingly errant reporting in terms of the mascot issue, because the controversial vote that the board had in a previous meeting, not the most recent, but a previous meeting, actually didn't revert back to the Indians. All it did was reject the proposed name, the Lions. So right now, the district's, no, I'm not lying, honest. But the district is actually now without a mascot because they haven't agreed to one. So that's actually where we are. We're not back at the Indians, but we're not in a new position either. Just FYI.
You want to hang on to that for shade?
No report, Mr. President.
Let's see. Communications, Commissioner Pine. Anything new?
Just very briefly, Mr. President, kind of somewhat related to the school board, we will be doing a joint newsletter with the school board that'll be in October, but we have another newsletter coming up for us only for this spring, and the deadline, I believe, is, I'm looking around for Doug's, 14th of April? Thank you, thank you. And I really have to commend Mr. Canals too, because we, for years, have been working on having a kind of cooperative newsletter with the school district. So the fact that you've, managed a system whereby we're going to have a school district insert into our fall newsletter, and we're going to split the costs, it's a win-win for both the school district and the township. So thank you, Doug.
Thank you. Okay, I think that concludes reports. Get into bids and agreements. First up is action on ordinances and resolutions and whatnot. First up is Resolution 22R04, which is an application for state and local share grant for recreation master plan funding. Mr. Knaus, you want to take this?
Thank you, Mr. President. Yeah, we are in process of completing our application for the state-wide local share grant program. We are going to be seeking $300,000 for multiple park master plans throughout the township. So the resolution for you tonight is basically the authorization to move forward with the application. And with it being a DCED grant, there will be a $100 grant processing fee charged at the time of the submittal.
Okay, so you're looking for a motion on the application plus the expenditure of $100?
Yeah, and the, I guess, approval and signing of the resolution that needs to be, yes.
Okay. Do we have a motion? Do we have a motion?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any comments or questions? So this is due March 15th, I believe, right?
Correct.
And when is the ballpark for hearing back on success?
We will be fortunately here at the end of the year. They're expecting a very high amount of requests. It's a brand new program. It has no match requirement, and it's statewide. When I was getting our letters of support from Senator DeSanto and Representative Helm, I also found out from DCED the same day that they actually had to send guidance to the legislator on what they should do with all these requests and how they should be sent to DCED. So I expect it to be a very competitive process.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, Commissioner Pine.
Doug, is this applied just to existing township parks, not possible future township park development?
Yeah, it's not a comprehensive plan. These would just be individual site plans.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Thanks, Doug.
Thank you.
Going down to reports, Township Manager, Mr. Propolka.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just briefly, I'd like to express my appreciation to the Board of Commissioners and staff. I know that the commissioners, you've been very accommodating of me in the last couple of days and in the next couple of days, as I have a few more, and take me around your wards and kind of introducing me to some of the issues that and opportunities in the township. So I'm very appreciative of your time. Staff has been very accommodating as well, helping me get acclimated and kind of get a lay of the landscape. So it's been an excellent first few days for me. Of general business, I've had a number of meetings with some of our vendors that we do business with, as well as our insurance broker. We had a meeting, Doug, Betsy, and myself, with our contact at the Department of Community and Economic Development to talk about some matters, as well as some of the grant opportunities that are available to us and other programs that they have to offer. Interviews are ongoing for the vacant community planner / zoning administrator position. We hope to have a recommendation forthcoming. And as was noted earlier this evening, the building renovation project is on schedule and proceeding very well. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Public Safety Police, Chief, do you have anything? Okay, thank you. Community and Economic Development, Betsy?
You have my report. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
Okay. Anything new in Public Works? Okay. Engineering?
Mr. President, Commissioners, unfortunately our report did not get into the packet. However, we do continue work on the projects that have been we've been working on for the past several months, and we'll continue to keep the board updated on all projects as they proceed. Thank you.
Thank you. And Solicitor? No report. Thank you. School Board, have we exhausted that subject? Okay. And the Authority, Commissioner Napper, have we exhausted that one?
Yes, sir, we took care of it.
Okay. Shade Tree Commission. Okay. Human Relations Commission, other than we have a couple of vacancies to fill. I assume there's no report.
Mr. President, do we have the business of appointment on the agenda later? Okay, perfect, then I'll save it for then, thank you.
Okay, and Parks and Recs, I think we pretty much covered that unless Doug has anything else to add. Well, okay. All right, old business. Approval of equipment purchased from Moyer Radio for Susquehanna Township Emergency Management. Rob Martin. Dave or Rob, you want to address this, please? Tee it up for us.
This is essentially the back end of the 4 repeaters that we have replaced. That these radio systems are 30 years old as well. So it makes no sense to replace all the top end of the communication system and not have the what's in the cars and what all our employees use. So that's what you have before you. I think we did brief you on this a meeting or two ago as well.
Move to approve. There's a motion. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second by Commissioner Code. Any discussion or comments? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, under new business, boards and commissions, we have a couple of points to consider. First up is the Human Relations Commission. Commissioner Fleming, you want to handle that one?
Yes, Mr. President, I would like to appoint Dr. Judith Samkoff to the Human Relations Commission. Her statement of interest and CV are included in the packet.
Okay, that's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Moved and second. Any comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you. We also, I think we're down to 2 more vacancies on the Human Relations Commission. Health Board, I think we have 1 vacancy. I got an expression of interest from Justin Bordell, who lives in the township in the mighty 3rd Ward, and was talking to him, and he expressed interest in getting involved in the township in some capacity. And that's at the point where we had a vacancy created on the health board. And so I mentioned it to him, thought about it, and he asked, if he could be considered for that. And he just wrote me a quick note. It's in your packets. So the chair would entertain a motion.
I will so move, Mr. President.
For your neighbor?
Yes, my neighbor.
Okay. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner
Recording in progress.
By Commissioner Rothrock. It's moved and second. Any comments or questions? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Very good. When does the health board meet next? Do we know? Is it next week?
Yeah, next week, yeah, they're
Okay.
scheduled to meet quarterly starting in March.
Okay. I believe you have Justin's information, Bordell.
Yep.
So if you could reach out to him, that'd be great. Let him know the time of the meeting, et cetera.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Okay. Request for modifications, waivers, and variances. Grease trap variance, and this is for Alvaro Pastry and Bread Shop, 4715 North Front Street. Mr. Probolka.
Thank you, Mr. President. So provided with your agenda is a copy of a declaration of understanding / acceptance of conditions. Again, this is for property at 4715 North Front Street. Property owner doing business as Alvaro Pastry and Bread Shop has requested a variance from Chapter 10, Section 202 of the Code of Ordinances, which relates to the minimum size for grease traps installed at food establishments operating within the township. Regulations require a minimum size of 1,000-gallon grease trap, but since the applicant is not intending to do any food preparation on site, they're asking that they be permitted to install a 40-gallon grease trap instead. Staff is recommending approval this evening.
Is there a motion?
I'll move if I get a free speak.
Where's the ethics committee?
Second is no expectation.
Oh, touche. Any comments or anyone want to take a bite at this one? No? All right. Any comments or questions? All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Donuts on its way. Next up is the admin building renovation project. We have a payment application request. Mr. Probolka.
Thank you, Mr. President. So provided with your agenda is a copy of the pay application for the administration building renovation project from our contractor. The application for payment is in the amount of $211,711.85. This is the second pay application. The board has already approved a payment of $92,567.07, and this is toward the original contracted amount of $935,300. Remaining balance after the second pay application will be $631,015.08, which is net of this application, and to date there have been no change orders associated with the project. The architect of record in this project has reviewed and is recommending approval of the pay app this evening. Thank you.
All right. Is there a motion?
So moved. Second.
Moved by Commissioner Fleming, seconded by Commissioner Napper. Any comments, questions?
Hey, I'd like to correct my report.
Authorized.
I based my percentage of completion based on that 631 outstanding rather than the 900,000, so it's probably 30% complete.
30%. That looks more like it. Yeah.
It did look more like that.
Yeah. All right, any other comments or questions? All those in favor of making the payment? And opposed? Motion carries. We're getting near the end here. Commissioner comments? Anybody wish to orate? Hearing none. We need to pay some bills. Do we have them in our packet?
I was actually just looking for that, Mr. President. We do not have an official report of bills paid. So,
how about if we wait till the workshop meeting?
Yeah, and we can approve both sets, or we can approve the set rather in the workshop. Okay.
We'll have a number of
So I move that we delay until the workshop meeting.
Okay. All right. Anything else before we adjourn? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
Second.
Moved and second. Any comments, questions, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? We are out of here. Thanks, everybody.